So Instagram, I'm sorry, this isn't working tonight. We'll deal with this later.
Live stream offline.
But I think we're online now.
Are we episode 41?
46, I think.
Oh my gosh, I'm behind the times.
And I think we're live at this point. So give me just a second to double check this.
I don't know if the website.
We are.
That link, I think it might say episode 42 on it.
Does? Oh, I'm sorry.
Something on the screen says episode 42.
Ignore that.
Okay.
That's
40 something.
That's because of something I have to enter into Zoom, which isn't really accurate and doesn't really matter for what I'm doing here. So all I have to do at this point is do a watch party on Tim's personal account and we'll be good to go. I killed Instagram because it was not. Sorry, Instagram. It doesn't work with the system, and my tripod broke, and then the thing I was trying to set up did not work at all. So we're almost there. Okay, cool. We're online.
Hey.
All right.
It is episode 46.
46, look at that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crazy Cabin Fever Cocktails by Distilled Living, produced by Fascination Design. We got Aften in her studio again this evening. We're just drinking here. Like, she's doing all the cocktail work. This is we had the studio set up recently this evening for one of 6 virtual tastings that we had going on this evening. And this is the lineup that we did for a big corporate client, which went really, really well. We did that. We did a lot of bourbon education, a lot of palate training, which is really, really good. I wasn't even in this studio. I was in a different studio, but I was drinking the Maker's 46 and I'd forgotten about it. And it's starting to turn chilly. I was outside a bit earlier. And so I'm going to have me a little bit of this little higher proof extra matured expression of Makers while I learn what the cocktail is that Aften is making. Do you want some?
Oh, this one.
Good. Tim, you keep drinking. I won't let you off that easy. We'll be back in to get you involved in this cocktail one way or another. So great to have everybody watching again. Thank you so much. Tim did mention that, yes, it is chilly. So I think I have the perfect concoction for these lovely cool weather evenings. If you remember previously, we featured an infused bourbon where we did an apple spice. We used cinnamon and clove and apple peels to hang out in with bourbon in a jar for a couple of weeks and infuse all those flavors. So I have the final result, and I'm going to be taking that a step further and making a cocktail out of our infusion from a previous episode. And tonight I'm going to be using a French press. So if you are into cocktail making and you are cool, or you are into cocktail making and you want to be cool, this is the gadget you need to have. It's not just for my 200 cups of coffee that I use in the morning. So it has multiple wonderful purposes. So I'm going to be building basically an old-fashioned recipe, and I'll walk you through it and then make sure everybody has the recipe if you want to try this at home, and I hope that you do. So when we're using a French press, what's really fun about this is you can do cold beverages, but it's made for hot liquids. So I really wanted to take advantage of that and do a heated cocktail again, because that's what this is essentially used for. So when you heat up alcohol, it's going to take in your infusions a lot more quickly. And when we layer our infused pieces, we want to layer them next to the alcohol because ethanol is going to absorb those flavors a lot more quickly than water. So as a rule of thumb, when you do a hot French press cocktail, you kind of want to do 1 part bourbon to about 2.5 parts of water. So you'll see how that comes together. This is obviously going to be more than 1 drink, so we're kind of doing a batch cocktail. So let's get started with building. Now with our infused bourbon that we had ready to go, again, we did cinnamon and clove and apple, and it came out really nice and bitter and spicy. So we're definitely going to sweeten it up. And then to add to those flavors, I'm going to go with orange and sage. So working with our orange, I'm just going to use the peel. So you would get 1 whole orange and just peel as much of that off as you would like to. So the recipe for the whole cocktail, well, for an individual drink, what we're going for is very traditional, old-fashioned. Like I said, it's going to be 2 ounces of your bourbon, 1 ounce of something sweet, and then you're going to have want 5 parts of water, and then we're doing 2 dashes of bitters. So it's very much the same formula. It's just heated up and a little extra punch with our infused flavors. All right. So when we add our oranges, again, anything you're infusing are going to go into your French press first. Just like you would with a garnish, go ahead and help yourself out and just pinch the oranges so you release those oils and they can get into your bourbon infusion a little more quickly. And if you want to go for more orange, go for it, but 1 should do the trick. And then sage is going to be our other flavor. And again, dealing with herbs, you want to kind of release the aromas out of these a little more easily. So take off your leaves and then just gently press them between your fingers, kind of get those nice, sagey smells going, so it's more readily available to mix into your cocktail. Just a little pinch and lay them down at the bottom of your French press so they can be pinched and then pressed. And remember I said that this will blend much more seamlessly with your alcohol instead of water. So we're going to go ahead and add that first. So we're doing a multiple batch here. So I've got 8 full ounces ready to go. We're going to get 4 cocktails out of this. And I wish you all could smell this. I heated it up on the stove a little bit. You don't want it to boil, just get it so it kind of steams, and that heat is going to help get your infusion going. And of course, it makes for a nice hot cocktail that you can enjoy. And pour the heated up bourbon right over your herbs, your fruits, your spices, anything that you want to add to a French press cocktail. And this definitely is going to need a little bit of sweetener. So I'm going with honey instead of a regular simple syrup. And we're just going to do a quick honey simple syrup on the fly. So I've got a whole ½ cup of honey. So this is going to be about 4 ounces full. And I'm going to add equal parts water to the honey and just mix it up right here on the table. It blends really easily. Just adding the water to it, it's going to make it less viscous, and it'll blend a lot more easily with your cocktail than if you were to just add honey directly. You could put the honey in there, but you kind of risk it being a little gunky, not so nice to drink. We want something that's really smooth and cohesive when we're enjoying it as far as the texture in our drink. So again, this is hot water with honey. It basically melts super fast. It's ready to go. I'm going to add the whole thing straight into the cocktail. And then to contrast it a bit more, let's go for bitters. We're doing black walnut. So if you think of all our flavors together, we've got apple, we've got cinnamon, we've got clove, we've got sage, we've got orange. Now we're adding black walnut and then our honey for our sweetener. So let's do 2 dashes per cocktail, which is going to be 8 total. And then the rest of the space here is going to be pretty much just about what we need to fill up with our hot water. Now, of course, you're going to want to let this hang out. It essentially needs to steep, kind of like a tea, so all of those flavors can blend together really nicely. I'd give it 5 to 10 minutes, not too long, or it starts to get bitter. If you want to start it early and then let it kind of hang out as you're drinking it or sharing it with somebody, it's going to infuse a little bit more in between your cocktails. But we are going to do a little bit of movie magic and imagine that 6 or 7 minutes has already gone by. So we're going to press the plunger down on our French press and take it slow. You've got stuff hot in here, so if it splashes out, it could hurt a little. Plus, you never want to lose any bourbon if you can help it. Definitely serve this in a mug for the cold weather and to help insulate it and keep it warm. You can see the steam maybe from the camera. This is going to be so good. And then just to make it a little extra yummy, in case it isn't delicious enough, we are going to throw on a bacon garnish. So this is all good to go. Drop it right in. So we've got bacon, apple, orange, black walnut, cinnamon, clove, honey. I'm starting to ready to drink this. So Tim, it's your turn. I got to drink a cocktail. I would like to know which of those 3 in front of you you would pick for this if people don't happen to have a pre-infused bourbon ready to go. So with those flavors laid out, what of the three in front of you do you think would be a good fit for a drink like this?
That is a serious challenge.
I think we're switching back to us. Give me a
We're
second.
switching back to us. All right, hang on. We're getting it in a minute. Is it automatically switching?
Yeah.
Hey, there it goes. It switched.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that is an interesting challenge. So when you're thinking about that many flavors, and that is a lot of flavors, and it actually starts to introduce a lot of textures, you want to think about the hardest flavor to pair, which is going to be the sage. So bacon kind of goes with everything. That's a gimme. Honey actually is going to go pretty well with a lot of your other components as well. So the orange citrus, that's going to be your second most difficult. So the sage is really what it's going to be all about. Maybe the Maker's 46 if I had to choose from this set, only because it's bringing a lot of that extra cinnamon spice, that heavier wood character, which is going to pair with the sage a little bit. But honestly, in looking at that recipe, if I could choose a different whiskey, I would think about using a very, very high rye. Something in the 90%, 95% category, which is not something I normally drink neat. I don't find that spirit to be particularly enjoyable on its own. But rye is going to bring so much herbaceous that it's actually going to match that sage. And if you can get something that has some fruit floral character already built in, maybe something that is unpolished and unfiltered so that you've got a heavier, richer character, I would, if I had to choose one here, it's going to be Maker's 46, but I would really recommend the New Riff single barrel rye, the 95.5. It's going to be some high test because it's the single barrel. It's going to be no water added. That, I think, either make the infusion, pick up a bottle of that. Either way, that's going to make a really good cocktail.
That's an awesome choice. New Riff anything is going to be my choice anyway. It's no secret. That's an Aften Locken favorite. So I love your selection. We're a good team.
Very good team. Great cocktail. Thanks for joining us again this evening.
Do we have anything to wrap up? Oh,
No.
Recipes online later. I am really behind on recipes online, but I am getting the videos online. The videos are from live, and then we are getting them on the website now. But we're a little bit behind on getting recipes onto the website.
We'll get there.
But we will definitely have Afton's lovely fall cocktail. We're going to have a name at some point, but I don't think we have the name picked out, right?
Let's do this. Let's take name submissions and then just a recap on the recipe real quick for everybody. So it's going to be 8 ounces of your preheated bourbon. It's going to be half a cup of honey mixed with half a cup of hot water to make your simple syrup. Whatever infusions you want to do, we used orange peels and sage, and then 8 dashes of black walnut bitters, and then fill it up with hot water. Let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes, garnish with bacon, and enjoy.
I have one really quick question for you. Which black walnut bitters did you use?
Brothers, I love them.
Awesome.
And in all the varieties.
Awesome. And as always, we'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Crazy Cabin Fever Cocktails. Good night, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.